Today, we're going to learn basic operations and functions in Python. Let's play with some numbers. Python supports all the basic arithmetic operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and more. These are the building blocks of any program. You'll find yourself using these operations a lot as you dive deeper into Python. So let's start coding. Python supports a wide range of operations for manipulating data, including arithmetic operations, comparison operations, and logical operations. Arithmetic operations in Python are straightforward. You can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and more. These are some examples of arithmetic operations. As you can see, Python handles these operations intuitively. The modulus operator % gives the remainder of a division, while floor division // returns the quotient without the remainder. Next, let's talk about comparison operations. These are used to compare two values and return a Boolean value, either true or false. These comparison operations are extremely useful in decision-making processes in your code, like in if statements, which we'll explore later in another video. Logical operations allow us to combine multiple conditions. The common logical operators in Python are AND, OR, and NOT. These operations help in controlling the flow of your program, especially when you're dealing with complex conditions. Strings are one of the most commonly used data types in Python. Whether you're processing text data, handling user input, or generating output, you'll work with strings a lot. Let's dive into some string operations and manipulations. You can concatenate strings using the plus operator and repeat them using the asterisk operator. Let's see how that works. String concatenation combines multiple strings into one, while repetition allows you to repeat a string multiple times. Python strings are sequences of characters, and you can access individual characters using indexing or a range of characters using slicing. Indexing allows us to access a specific character in a string, where the index starts at 0 for the first character. You can also use negative indices to start counting from the end of the string. Slicing, on the other hand, lets us extract a substring by specifying a start and end index. The start index is inclusive, but the end index is exclusive. Python provides a rich set of built-in methods to work with strings. These methods can perform a variety of tasks, from changing the case of the text to finding and replacing substrings. Let's look at some of the most commonly used string methods. These methods are incredibly useful when manipulating text data. Strip removes any leading or trailing whitespace, upper and lower. Change the case of the text. Replace swaps out a substring for another, and find gives the position of a substring within the string. Mastering these will make your string processing tasks much easier. Now that we've covered the basics of operations, let's move on to another fundamental concept in Python: functions. Functions are blocks of reusable code that perform a specific task. They help make your code modular, easier to read, and more maintainable. To define a function in Python, you use the def keyword followed by the function name and a pair of parentheses. Inside the parentheses, you can specify parameters, which are values that you pass to the function. The function body is then indented and contains the code that you want the function to execute. In this example, we defined a function called greet that takes one parameter name. When we call greet with a specific name, it prints a personalized greeting. Functions can be reused multiple times with different arguments, which makes them incredibly powerful. Functions can also return values using the return statement. This allows you to get a result from the function and use it elsewhere in your code. Here, the add function takes two parameters, adds them together, and returns the result. We then store the return value in the result variable and print it. The return statement is essential when you want your function to produce an output that can be used in other parts of your code. Python allows you to set default values for function parameters. This is useful when you want a parameter to have a standard value unless a different one is provided. In this example, the greet function has a default parameter name set to guest. If no argument is passed when the function is called, it uses the default value. However, if we pass an argument, it overrides the default value. In addition to positional arguments, Python functions can also accept keyword arguments. This means that you can specify arguments by name, making your function calls more readable. Here, the describe_pet function takes two arguments. By using keyword arguments, we can specify which argument corresponds to which parameter, making the function calls more intuitive. The order in which the arguments are passed doesn't matter when using keyword arguments. Python comes with a large number of built-in functions that can save you time and effort. Let's explore a few of these essential functions that you'll find yourself using frequently. The len function is used to get the number of items in an object. This works with strings, lists, tuples, dictionaries, and more. Len is particularly useful when you need to determine the length of a sequence or the number of items in a collection. We've already used type to check the data type of a variable. This function is crucial when you need to verify the type of data you're working with, especially in more complex programs. As you can see, type quickly tells you the data type of any object, which can be helpful when debugging or validating input. The input function is used to get input from the user. This is particularly useful when you want to create interactive programs. In this example, input prompts the user to enter their name. The input is then stored in the name variable, which we use to greet the user. Note that input always returns the input as a string, so you may need to convert it to another data type if necessary. Let's put everything we've learned so far into practice by building a small interactive project. We'll create a simple program that asks the user for their name, age, and favorite number, and then prints out a message that includes a calculated result. This script first gathers input from the user, performs some simple arithmetic operations, and then displays the results. Notice how we used input to gather data, int, to convert the input to an integer, and print to output the final message. And that's it for today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon so you'll be notified whenever we upload new content. Also, leave a comment below if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future videos. Your feedback is super important to us. Thanks for joining me today. Python is an incredible language, and with these basics under your belt, you're well on your way to becoming a proficient programmer. Keep practicing, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy coding!